Good day, everyone. I am the first reporter of Chapter 11, Environmental Crisis and Sustainable Development. There are three learning outcomes in this topic. First, discuss the origins and manifestations of global environmental crisis. Second, relate everyday encounters with pollution, global warming desertification, ozone depletion, and many others with a larger picture of environmental degradation. Lastly, examine the policies and programs of governments around the world that address the environmental crisis. These three learning outcomes, we will encounter it during the continuation of this topic. So first, I will continue all about sustainable development. Sustainable development is the organizing principle for the meeting human development goals while simultaneously sustaining the ability of natural systems to provide the natural resources and ecosystem services based upon which the economy and society depend. So, sustainable development aims at promoting the kind of development that minimizes environmental problems and meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs.
So I am the next reporter, so I will be reporting on the word leading environmental issues. When you say environmental issues is encompass a broad range of challenges that affect the natural world and ecosystem. So these issues include pollutions, where contaminants from human activities harm air, water, and soil quality. Deforestations, that clearing of forests, of agricultural, of logging, leads to habitat loss and contributes to climate change. Climate change itself driven by human activities like burning fossil fuels, resulting in rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and disruptions to ecosystem. So biodiversity loss caused by habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change poses a threat to the variety of life on Earth and the balance of ecosystems. Sustainable resource management is crucial to address these challenges and ensure a harmonious coexistence between human activities and the preservation of the environment for future generations.
Hello everyone, so by the way, my name is Axel John R. Calvo. I am here to report the man-made pollutions. So when we say man-made pollutions, it is a pollutions that are made by human activities. So there is an organization that studies the pollutions in every country. This is what they call the WHO, or the World Health Organizations. So they work worldwide to promote health, keep the world safe, and serve the vulnerable. So this is the vulnerable, like the poor people. So their goal is to ensure that 1 billion more people have universal health coverage, to protect 1 billion more people from health emergencies, and provide a further 1 billion people with better health and well-being. So man-made pollutions. Other natural environment concerns are exacerbated by humans. So in Saudi Arabia, the Riyadh is the capital of the Saudi Arabia. So the World Organizations declared that Riyadh as one of the most polluted cities in the world. So they concerned about the sandstorms. So this is caused by the industrial waste and the smoke from the vehicles. So these human contributions has quickly become cause of concerns. So heavy metals coming out of heavy industries have contaminated 20 million, or 1/5 of the total arable lands of the Saudi Arabia. So let us proceed to Tianjin, which is the place of China. So in Tianjin, population's 15 million, 95% of the supposedly potable was unsafe to drink. So the water is contaminated. So As of 2014, 14 out of China's 31 provinces water were unable to reduce polluted in their surface water. So that is the some example of man-made pollutions in every country.
Let's proceed on catching up. So governments think that in order for their countries to be completely developed, they must be industrialized, urbanized, and populated by a healthy middle class with access to the best of modern amenities. So correspondingly, a developed society must also include provision for the poor, such as employment in the industrial sector, public transportation, and low-cost food. So, for example, the United States, which was a global economic power until the 1970s and boasted an inviolable middle class. So, mo na siya ang example sa modern civilization. So, however, did not achieve this high point kung walay significant environmental implication. So these environmental repercussions, however, are far from the minds of countries like China, India, and Indonesia, which are currently engaged in frenetic race to catch up with the West in terms of economic growth. So layo ra siya kumpara sa United States, no. So these extractive economies, however, are terminal economies. So their resources, which will eventually run out, are also pollutant sources. So oil corporations in Nigeria's or Niger Delta have caused substantial land, water, and air pollution. So kung ang United States is willing to sacrifice its environment in order to achieve modernity and better the lives of its citizens, developing countries see no reason why they cannot do the same. So this raises the challenge of how to preserve environmental sustainability while also meeting the development needs of disadvantaged countries.
So climate change impacts. Though we often think about human-induced climate change as something that will happen in the future, it is an ongoing process. Ecosystem and communities in the United States, the impacts of climate change on different sectors of society are interrelated. Can harm food production and human health. Flooding can lead to disease spread and damages to ecosystem and infrastructure. Human health issues can increase mortality, impact food availability, and limit worker productivity. Climate change impacts are seen throughout various aspects of the world we live in. However, climate change impacts are uneven across the country and the world, even within a single community. Climate change impact can differ between neighborhoods and individuals. Long-standing socioeconomic inequities can make underserved groups who often have the highest exposure to hazard and the fewest resources to respond and more valuable.
Good day everyone, this is Michael Ilaria and I am going to discuss the conclusion of Lesson 11, which is a topic about environmental crisis and sustainable development. As we know, in the contemporary world, the world's leading environmental problems in the contemporary world is climate change. Climate change refers to long-term change in temperature, precipitation, and other atmospheric conditions on Earth. It is primarily driven by human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial process, which release greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide into atmosphere. The consequences of climate change are extensive and include the following, like rising of temperature, melting ice and rising sea levels, extreme weather events, loss of biodiversity, ocean acidification, and lastly is the impacts on agriculture. And so, by addressing the climate change, it also requires global cooperation and efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, transitions to renewable energy resources, and implement sustainable practices. Many international initiatives, agreements, and policies aim to mitigate the impacts of climate change and transitions toward a more sustainable and resilient future. Furthermore, I'm also going to tackle about the man-made pollution. Man-made pollution is a significant and pressing issue in the contemporary world, impacting the environment, human health, and the ecosystem. Here is how man-made pollutions connect to the contemporary world. Air pollution. Muna ang mga burning of fossil fuels for energy, kana mga ginabuhat sa mga industrial activities, and common kana mga transportation release pollutants into the air, like mga jeepneys on the roads, like ilang mga aso nga itong gayo. Then and big ang nakapa-impact sa mayo, like sa kanang mga industrials, mga factories. Water pollution, like industrial discharges, agricultural runoff, and imposed of waste disposal nga maka-contaminate sa water sources, like takaglabaw nga basura. Then like sa kanang mga factory na mga hugaw nga nila ibutang sa nga maanod lang padung sa dagat. And also kanang plastic pollution, usa sa din sa pinaka-worst sa man-made pollution, kanang widespread use of single plastics, pataka labay sa mga dispose, like instead the use of single plastic, or instead we use kanang like mga eco bags para maka-prevent sa into that pollution, para ma-lessen or ma-decrease ang mga widespread of single-use plastics. And then by addressing this, individuals, business, governments, and international organizations all have roles to play in addressing man-made pollution. It requires a concerted effort and commitment to sustainable practices to create a cleaner and healthier environment for current and future generations.